Welcome to episode 3 of our podcast. Today's topic is going to be a Q&A, or so you can get to know the voices behind the characters. I am me, joined by myself.
Hey, what's up?
I am also joined for his first podcast. Hi.
Hello.
So with the topic of a Q&A, get to know the voice already being discussed, let's move right on to the first question. So question one is, what's your favorite way to relax? Myself, would you mind answering that question first?
My favorite way to relax is just to play games.
Alright, that makes sense. What's your favorite way to relax?
It depends on the mood I'm in.
Let's say you're really stressed out. Would you relax then?
Hmm.
Like you have homework due, ahem.
Uh, hmm.
Right, I guess moving on to how I will answer that question. My favorite way to relax after any sort of situation is just to chill out to some music. Whether it be my personal favorites or a themed playlist. Doesn't matter.
What kind of music?
My favorite kind of music would probably be towards the electronic video game music, like electro swing,
What are some of your favorite songs?
oh, Trainwreck of Electro Swing is one of my top favorites. With another one being some Megalovania remixes, Spooky Scary Skeleton remixes, just some others here and there. Moving on to question two. Why is purple your favorite color?
Like I said in the first episode, purple should be burned and purple should be ripped apart and nobody should have to deal with purple. So,
Ah, yes, that's right, I forgot. Why, why is purple your favorite color?
Honestly, I don't get why flags don't have the purple color.
That is a good point. Well, purple for me is an all around neutral color. It's not too overpowering, but it can be overpowered. And moving on to question number three. So, what happens outside of recording these podcasts? So, would you go first?
it's normally like I'm either doing work or I'm hanging out with Mix or I, or I'm talking with me because
Right?
we all are very close in real life.
That we are. Hi. What do you do outside of the podcasts?
It depends on the type of week. At one week, on the weekend I would be at Edmonton with my cousin.
You mean the day of the week, not type of the week?
We, yeah, depends.
Right?
It's not every week though. Sometimes if I have homework, I just do the homework.
That makes sense. And what I
Yeah.
do outside of the podcast is I would either be talking to myself, either discussing a bit more about the podcast, suggesting ideas, or I'm either hanging out with some of my other friends, so I'm just
or you can
gaming
also
or
go skateboarding.
school work or longboarding, yeah. So without any further ado, let's move on to question 4. What does success mean to you?
Success is success to me is being like happy with your life. You know what I mean?
I. What does success mean to you?
Honestly, at this point, I kind of forgot.
Okay. And for me, success would either be being happy, just doing something that I've put off for a long time, getting something completed that I needed to get done. That's what success would mean. Question number 5 is, do we have any pets?
No, no, I do not.
I. Do you have any pets?
No, although I think my sister wanted a dog.
I mean, I have a lot of pets. I mean, no, no, no. Me has a lot of pets. Like,
That is true. I have one rescue dog who's named Clover. We've got two cats, one of them being a rescue who was born in the shelter. We've got a couple of fish, and I think that's it. Being said, question, next question is, what's your favorite food to eat and why?
honestly, I don't have a favorite food. You give me a food, I'll eat it. Like, honestly, I'm not that picky with food.
That makes sense.
And like, to the question, like, why would I know I'm sounding unreasonable, but like, I know I probably sound dumb, but it's like, why do you like eating this food? Because I like how it feels in my mouth. Like,
Hi, what's your favorite food to eat and why?
Well, I kind of have a lot of favorite foods, but one of them is chicken
the magic
Same,
because
chicken.
I
why?
kind of visit a lot of restaurants, and the chicken on some of those is very good.
If you don't know, he's a food critic.
Interesting.
He's
But
really the
my,
Gordon Ramsay. He's like Gordon Ramsay if Gordon Ramsay was underage.
that makes sense. So my favorite food would, I honestly don't know. It depends from season to season. It also kind of depends on how I'm feeling at the moment.
Or you're like a pumpkin spice type of guy, cause like in October you're like getting your pumpkin spice on. Like, are you that kind of guy?
Pumpkin spices for October
It's
and
okay.
November.
Notice
Christmas is more Christmas food. So yeah, I am that type of guy that just changes with season.
so like Easter, you're like eating a big meat guy during like Easter or spring.
And with that being said, the next question is, how often do you count using prime numbers?
Honestly, I don't count that much. So only when I'm doing math. Like prime numbers are like yeah, prime numbers are like not used in my day to day life. Like I don't use numbers that much. Like you might be like, yo, you got a job? No. I'm not counting anything. The only time I'm using numbers is looking at the time or doing homework or doing math. So plus
That makes
the
sense.
question is asking how often do you count? That's the first part of it. I don't count that often, so once a month, twice a month.
That makes sense. I. How often do you count using prime numbers?
The counting part is I do it very often, but the prime number part I lost count.
That makes
Wait,
sense. And as for me, since I'm the one who's generally keeping things together, I do quite a bit of the counting. I count on a semi-daily basis, and for prime numbers, they're just faded right in. With that question over, the next question ready. Next question is, do you have any favorite puzzles? Do you like to do puzzles? If so, what are your favorites? Sudoku, crosswords, search and finds, dots to dots, or any others?
I do Sudoku like once a week, and I do know how to solve Rubik's Cube, so I do Sudokus and Rubik's Cube, so normally like physical puzzles, not like paper puzzles. I do like physical puzzles like brain teasers and like stuff like that.
Right? Hi, do you have any favorite puzzles? And if so, do you
yeah,
enjoy puzzles? If so, what are your favorites?
I have some favorite puzzles. Sudoku, that's all I can remember right now, but and sometimes I like to challenge myself to the point where I suffer.
Crosswords and word searches are like give me PTSD because in science we had to do them all the time. So like, oh my, I'm not
For
really
us,
a
for
good
me,
crossword or search and find guy, but like if you like word searches, the door's that way. So
well, as for me, I thoroughly enjoy doing my puzzles. I do love crosswords. Not crosswords, word searches. They're
you
some of
can
my
get out of
personal
here.
favorites.
You can get out of here now.
They're some of my favorites. They do love a good logic puzzle. I enjoy logic puzzles better than I do like word searches. Not gonna exit. Let's move on to the next question. Next question is, how many books do you read weekly and monthly? So, here to go first.
Weekly, I read like 3 books. Monthly, I don't know honestly. I mostly like read books just for school, but like the books I normally read are like comic books or manga or graphic novels or light novels. Like, cause like
Makes sense. I would you care to explain how many books you read on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis?
Honestly, I don't really know how much monthly because the amount of books I have is very low. Like it has very little diversity.
you have a low IQ.
I guess you can say that.
Oh, do you? And as for me, I my reading has definitely slowed down, because of what's been happening. I do still read a little bit. Not quite sure. I haven't been keeping track of my reading. I do read, and moving on to the next question. Do you have a book reading goal for the year?
No, no, I do not. Completely honest
Eh,
with you, no.
Do you have a book reading goal for the year?
If I barely read books, why would I have a reading goal?
Makes sense. And I do not have a reading goal either. Moving away from books, how many languages do you speak?
4.
Could you give us a sample of the four languages?
I speak English. I was forced to speak French for elementary, so I don't know if that counts. Japanese and Arabic. How about you, I?
I know 1.55 languages because I know some words from other languages. And I was
Up,
also forced to learn French in elementary,
eh,
and of
well,
course English.
I only really know one language. I've since mostly forgotten the French. We're not counting that because we were forced to learn it. So I only really know the one language. I know two languages. I have I know the Canadian version of English and the British version of English. And believe it or not, they are actually separate. And moving on,
The
what
people who fought.
languages do you want to learn?
I mean, the people who fought for the right to have French a second official language are just rolling their eyes, cause like when it is taught, like people aren't really excited to learn it, and like people are just like, nah,
Uh, moving on, what languages do you want to learn?
no languages.
Right? Hi. What languages do you want to learn?
No languages.
Right? And as for me, the languages I want to learn are Ukrainian, Russian, and German. German just so I can make jokes. Ukrainian and Russian just because I am partially Ukrainian and Russian. From that question, why are you interested in the language?
Uh,
In the languages
I'm
that we
not
want to learn?
interested in the languages because like your boy ain't very smart, so like you don't learn languages. So
Since you didn't have any languages that you wanted to learn, this question won't apply to you either.
I mean, didn't you already say why you
Hmm.
were interested in the languages so you can make jokes and your part Ukrainian and Russian? So
I did. I want to.
Yeah.
I'm interested in learning German just so that way I can make lots of jokes and understand what they're saying in the old World War II games. And because I am part Ukrainian and Russian because I'm also part Russian. And that concludes the questions I have gathered. What about you, myself? Did you gather any questions?
actually, no. So
Did you gather any questions?
No.
With all these questions being answered and asked, we have come to the end of the episode. Just as one final note, two facts about yourself. For one, I am the main voice of the channel. I do not own the channel in the sense of having ultimate control of it. Two, I have ADHD. So, what are two facts about you? I, what are two facts about you?
I have autism and I have homework to do. That's it.
Oh, Okay, and with those facts about us being said, I've come to the end of the episode. Just as one final note before we go, to all of those who are watching and are not subscribed, please subscribe. It really helps us out.
Yeah.
Let's hope we can get 50 subs by the end of the year. And I'm your host, me, joined by myself, and joined by I. With that, bid you adieu.